All right, if you were absent on Tuesday's class this week, it's going to be very important that you watch this video to understand how you can prepare for the upcoming embedded assessment. Your assessment will be on December 10th, which is Monday. So it'll begin on Monday. And there's many options that you have as far as how you can prepare. But first, let's make sure you have all the supplies that you need. You have the manila folder that I gave you, and you can go ahead and write your first name and your last name, and then just put EA, which stands for Embedded Assessment. So you'll need the manila folder. You're going to need some highlighters. You will need all of your info sheets. You should probably have about 4 of those collected. You're going to need the graphic organizer, the study guide, and the pages that have all the choices on it. So all of these items will be needed as you prepare for the embedded assessment. The first thing I want you to do is to take out all of your info sheets and lay them out in front, and then get the small little piece of paper that has all of the pages on it. That sheet is tall and skinny. It looks like this. So have that out with all of your info sheets. And we're going to cross-reference. You're going to check off the pages that you have. So if I go down my info sheets, I see that I have page 207. So I'm going to go over on my sheet and I'm crossing off page 207. Okay, I see that I have 208, so I'm crossing off 208. And if I were to move this down, I would have 211. And above the 207, I had 205. Looks like I didn't have 206, and that's what you're discovering right now. You're going to you're going to look at the pages that for some reason maybe you just skipped over and you didn't get. So you're cross-referencing. Go ahead and pause the video and cross off all the pages that you do have on your info sheets, so that you can clearly see the ones that you don't have. Pause the video while you do this. Next, you're going to go through all of your info sheets and highlight just the page number using this color key right here, this key code right here, to decide who did what. So if Eric is blue and Eric makes the choice on page 205, you would highlight just page 205. And then you can see that Paul is yellow, and so you would highlight page 207 yellow. Again, Paul's on 208, and then Arthur, who is a minor character, looks like I don't have pink, so I'll have to use red, but that should be pink. So you'll highlight the page numbers according to this color code. So pause the video and go ahead and highlight all of your page numbers so that when all is said and done, it will look like this. As you can see, all my page numbers are highlighted according to that color key. So pause the video and do that. I will go ahead and zoom. Why don't you pause the video here? That way you can use the color-coded key while you highlight. Okay? All right, so highlight the page numbers. All right, as you look at your colors, you have to see who you have the most of, and then you will write those names on your orange study guide as your selection of who you'll be writing about. So as I look at my colors, I can clearly see that I have a lot of evidence for Paul. So Paul will be my first choice. So go to the study guide, and whoever your person is, for example, mine's Paul, so I wrote Paul, but maybe you didn't have a lot of yellow. Maybe you had a lot of blue. So Eric would be your first person. You just have to look and see which colors you have the most of, because that means those characters are stacked with evidence, and pick them. So obviously I picked yellow because that was Paul. If I'm looking at my other colors, I obviously would probably pick orange next, which is the parents. So on my study guide, I wrote parents for my second body paragraph. This could be different for you. You need to look at your colors and decide who your second paragraph should be about. It's going to be the character that has the second most, amount of pieces of evidence that you have collected. Now, my third choice, I have a tie. I have 2 greens and I have 2 blues. So I'm going to have to pick which one I'm more interested in, and I'm more interested in Eric. I think Eric had a greater impact on Paul than the Cruz family. So my choice will be Eric. However, I have to have 3 pieces of evidence for each paragraph. This means I'm going to have to add another Eric piece of evidence so that I have 3. So just note to self, as you're looking at your colors, make sure you have 3 of each. So as you can see, I went ahead and added Eric. Okay, next, take the graphic organizer. On the graphic organizer, I need for you to add the due date. It's due this Friday for a grade. And I want you to cross off the word point, and I want you to add the word character. Each of the characters' names that you picked from your orange study guide will be written in these blank little boxes here, okay? Then, down below that, you have the places where the 3 pieces of evidence that you're going to pick for your paper, for your essay, they'll go in here. I don't think it's necessary to write out the evidence. I am comfortable maybe with you just putting the page number where you are going to find the best pieces. I can't write on this thing. The best pieces of evidence that you found. Okay, so let's just, I'm making these up. So 3 best pieces of evidence that I have for, let's say, Eric, were found on these pages. These are my favorite pieces of evidence. These are the evidence pieces that I want to use in Eric's paragraph on my embedded assessment. This is my final decision. This is the backbone, the skeleton, if you will, of your embedded assessment. It's like an outline. And this is the paper that you'll use during the embedded assessment. So make sure you're really happy with the 3 choices of evidence that you decide to pick for each of the characters that you'll put in these boxes. And this assignment is due on Friday for a grade. Your final and last stop is to use your graphic organizer that you just got done completing, and you're going to show Mrs. Butch or show Mrs. Messner. You have to show one of us, your graphic organizer. In return, you'll get your grade for having it completed, and then we'll be giving you the color Post-its that you need. So if I picked the parents, Paul and Eric, I would need blue, orange, and yellow Post-its. And you'll go into the book and you'll mark the evidence that you're going to use. Since this is a timed writing test, it is imperative that you are prepared. You don't have time to look up in your book where the evidence might be, 3 pieces for each of the 3 characters. It will take you too long. So we need to mark in the book. The book is yours. You can highlight in the book. We can put Post-its in the book. But as you can see how I have mine labeled here, Eric has his 3 pieces of evidence, and I've even clearly marked it on the blue tabs. And then, of course, I did the same thing for Paul. I have his name on it, and I wrote, and you can't see if that one's 1, 2, and then 3 is down here. I'm numbering them in the order that I want to use them in the paragraph. So the more prepared you are with your evidence, the faster you'll be at writing it, since it's a timed writing assessment. Okay? These are suggestions. The only thing you actually have to do is the graphic organizer. Other than that, nothing else will be looked upon for a grade. These are just merely suggestions to help you get ready. But these are the papers, and then you'll have them in that manila folder, and you'll bring that with you on Monday, and you may use these papers to help you write your embedded assessment.